In life, most of us believe that being honest is enough. We tell ourselves that as long as we work hard, stay kind, and keep our promises, everything will eventually turn out fine. But what if that isn't the whole truth? What if one small thought, one quiet whisper of temptation, is enough to undo years of integrity? Have you ever wondered how quickly a single decision can change the direction of your life? Tonight's story is not about crime or punishment. It is not about villains or heroes. It is about something far more subtle. It is about the silent power of thought, and how discipline in the mind can determine the destiny of a life. Many years ago, in a quiet countryside town, there lived a young man named Daniel. Daniel was not rich. He was not particularly gifted. But he was known for one thing. He was honest. He lived in a small wooden house at the edge of town. Each morning before sunrise, he would wake up, wash his face in cold water, and step outside with hope in his heart. He searched for work wherever he could find it. Some days, he earned enough to buy bread and vegetables. Other days, he returned home empty-handed. Still, he never complained. He believed that dignity mattered more than comfort. One evening, after walking for hours without success, Daniel made his way back along a narrow dirt road. His feet were tired, his stomach was empty, and his spirit felt heavier than usual. Just as he reached a bend in the road, he heard a voice call out behind him. "Excuse me, young man. Could you lend me a hand?" Daniel turned and saw an elderly gentleman standing beside 3 large travel trunks. The old man's clothes were simple but clean. His posture was slightly bent, yet his eyes were sharp and observant. "I need to reach the neighboring town before nightfall," the old man said gently. "I can carry 2 trunks, but the third is too heavy. If you help me, I will reward you with 5 silver coins." 5 silver coins was more than Daniel usually earned in a week. Without hesitation, he nodded. "I'll help you." He lifted the trunk onto his shoulder and nearly staggered from its weight. "This is heavier than it looks," he said with a small laugh. "It is filled with copper," the old man replied calmly. Daniel adjusted his grip and began walking. As they moved down the road together, Daniel noticed something. The old man kept glancing at him, not in fear exactly, but with caution. Daniel felt a flicker of discomfort. Does he think I would steal from him? He tightened his jaw. I may be poor, he thought, but I am not dishonest. They walked in silence until they reached a shallow river cutting across the path. Daniel stepped into the water first. The current was mild but steady. When he reached the other side, he turned back. The old man remained standing on the riverbank. "My legs are not strong," he called out. "If I try to cross with these trunks, I may fall." Daniel hesitated. "Can you carry one more?" the old man asked. "I will double your payment." Daniel waded back across the river. As he reached for the second trunk, the old man placed a hand on it. "Promise me," he said slowly, "that you will not run away." Daniel's brows drew together. Why would I do that? "Times are uncertain," the old man replied, "and this trunk contains silver." Daniel felt a sting of pride. "I have never stolen a coin in my life," he said firmly. "I would rather go hungry than cheat another man." The old man studied his face for a long moment. Then he nodded. Daniel lifted the second trunk. The weight pressed hard against his shoulders, but he walked steadily through the river once more. When both men reached the other side, they continued along a winding path that led toward a hill. As the ground began to rise, the old man slowed. "I cannot climb with this last trunk," he admitted. "Would you carry it ahead and wait for me at the top?" Daniel wiped sweat from his forehead. "What is inside this one?" he asked. The old man paused. "Gold." The word lingered in the air. Gold. Daniel swallowed. "If you choose to leave," the old man added softly, "I will never catch you." Something about the statement felt deliberate, Daniel forced a small smile. "I've told you before, I'm not that kind of person." He took the third trunk. It was heavier than the others. With all 3 trunks now in his possession, he began climbing the hill alone. Halfway up, a thought slipped quietly into his mind. No one is watching. He walked a little faster. The old man is far behind. The thought returned. If I run now, he will never reach me. Daniel shook his head, trying to dismiss it, but another thought followed. With this gold, I could buy land. I could build a larger house. I could live comfortably. He imagined a future without struggle, warm meals, fine clothes, a wife who admired his success. He reached the top of the hill and looked back. The old man was only a small figure in the distance. Daniel's heart began to race. It would be so easy. Just a few steps into the forest beyond the hill, and this life of hardship would be over. He stood there, breathing heavily. Years of discipline pressed against one moment of desire. One more step, he told himself. Just walk forward. Instead, he ran. He ran down the other side of the hill, through tall grass and scattered trees, until he could no longer see the road. His lungs burned. His arms ached, but excitement fueled him. When he finally reached his small house, he locked the door behind him. Hands trembling, he opened the first trunk. Stones, just ordinary stones. Confused, he opened the second trunk. More stones. His stomach dropped. With shaking fingers, he opened the third. Stones again. No copper, no silver, no gold. Only rocks. For a long moment, he could not move. Then he noticed a folded piece of paper tucked beneath the stones. He picked it up. The handwriting was neat and deliberate. "I am the ruler of this province," it read. "I have grown old without children. I have been searching for someone worthy to inherit not only my wealth, but my responsibility. I sought a person whose integrity could withstand temptation. If you had chosen discipline over desire, you would have become my successor." Daniel's vision blurred. His knees weakened. He sank to the floor. He had been honest for years. He had refused bribes. He had left jobs that required deception. He had endured hunger rather than compromise his values. And yet, one unchecked thought had undone it all. Not an action at first, just a thought. If I run, he cannot catch me. That thought grew roots. It became imagination. Imagination became justification. Justification became action. And action became regret. Daniel covered his face with his hands. The greatest loss was not the throne. It was the realization that he had betrayed himself. This is the quiet danger of the mind. Our enemies outside us are visible. We can defend against them. But the thoughts within us are subtle. They arrive gently. They whisper instead of shout. A single thought may seem harmless, but thoughts shape our words. Words shape our actions, actions shape our habits, and habits shape our destiny. If Daniel had paused for one more breath, if he had examined that thought instead of embracing it, his life would have been entirely different. We often believe that integrity is built only through large decisions. But integrity is protected in small moments, in the space between temptation and choice, in the discipline to say no to ourselves. There is an old saying, "No one can defeat you without your permission." And often the permission is given in the mind first. We tell ourselves a story that justifies impatience, a story that excuses greed, a story that convinces us we deserve more, even if it costs us our values. But the truth is this: peace does not come from possession. It comes from control. Control not of others, but of the self, of thought. Imagine if Daniel had chosen differently. He would have reached the hilltop and waited. He would have greeted the old man with steady eyes. And in that moment, he would have proven something far greater than honesty. He would have proven mastery over his own mind. And mastery of the mind is the foundation of leadership, trust, and lasting success. We all carry three trunks in life. The first is survival. The second is opportunity. The third is temptation. The first two test our strength. The third tests our character. When temptation appears, it does not announce itself as danger. It disguises itself as possibility. It paints pictures of comfort and admiration. It tells you that no one will know. But you will know. And that knowledge becomes the weight you carry long after the moment has passed. Daniel eventually learned from his mistake. Though he never became a ruler, he became something else, a man who understood the fragile nature of virtue. He began teaching young children in the town about discipline. He would tell them, "Guard your thoughts as carefully as you guard your possessions, because thoughts, once acted upon, cannot be returned." Over time, his quiet wisdom earned him respect. Not wealth, not power, but something deeper: trust. And perhaps that was the greater throne all along. If there is one lesson in this story, it is this: do not underestimate the power of a single thought. When temptation knocks, pause. When greed whispers, listen carefully. Ask yourself, does this align with who I truly am? Because character is not proven when life is easy. It is revealed when shortcuts appear. Control your thoughts before they control you. Choose discipline over impulse. Choose integrity over imagination. And you will never have to live with the regret of knowing you betrayed your own values. If this story spoke to your heart, take a moment to reflect on your own thoughts today. Have they been guiding you or misleading you? If you found meaning in this message, please like and share this video so it can reach others who may need this reminder. And subscribe for more stories that inspire reflection, patience, and inner strength. Thank you for spending these moments with me. May your mind remain clear, your heart remain honest, and your path remain steady. Be patient, be grateful, and keep moving forward with discipline and peace.